V.I. Lenin, Capitalism and Taxation, published, Pravda number 129, June 7, 1913. Signed, V. Lenin. Published according to the Pravda text. Source: Lenin Collected Works, Progress Publishers, 1977, Moscow, Volume 19, pages 197 to 200. Translated, the late George Hanna. Transcription / markup, art symbol, public domain, Lenin Internet Archive. You may freely copy, distribute, display and perform this work, as well as make derivative and commercial works. Please credit Marxist's Internet Archive as your source. README, Novi Economist, a journal published by Mr. P. Magillian, with the Octobrists and Cadets jointly collaborating, carries an interesting note about income tax in the United States. The bill exempts from taxation all incomes up to $4,000, 8,000 rubles. Taxation is envisaged at the rate of 1% on all incomes exceeding $4,000, 2% on all incomes exceeding $20,000 and so on, with slight increases in the percentage as incomes increase. Thus the plan is for a progressive income tax, but with an exceedingly slow rate of progression, so that the owner of $1 million income generally pays less than 3%. The plan estimates that the 425,000 people whose incomes exceed $4,000 will pay $70 million in taxes, about 140 million rubles, and the Octobrist cadet editors of Novi Economist note with reference to this, compared with the 700 million rubles import duty and the 500 million rubles excise duty, the expected revenue of 140 million rubles from income tax is negligible and will not change the significance of indirect taxation. It is a pity that our bourgeois liberal economists, who are in words prepared to accept a progressive income tax and have even recorded it in their program, have evinced no desire to make a definite and precise statement on what rates of income tax they consider to be obligatory. Such rates that the significance of indirect taxation would merely be changed, and if so, to what extent? Or such rates that indirect taxation would be completely abolished? The American statistics that Novi Economist touches upon provide an instructive illustration to this question. It can be seen from the bill that the total income of 425,000 capitalists, if the tax provides $70 million, is estimated at $5,413 million. This is an obvious understatement. 100 persons are shown as having an income of over $1 million and their income is shown as $150 million. We know that a dozen American multimillionaires have incomes incomparably greater. The Secretary of the Treasury in America wants to be polite to the multimillionaires, but even these figures, excessively polite to the capitalists, show a noteworthy picture. Statistics in America record only 16 million families. Of these, therefore, less than 500,000 are counted as capitalists. The remaining mass of people are wage slaves or petty farmers oppressed by capital, etc. The statistics fix the size of the income enjoyed by the working masses in America quite accurately for a number of categories. For instance, 6,615,046 industrial workers received $3,427 million, that is, $518, 1,035 rubles, per worker. Then, 1,699,420 railway workers received $1,144,000,000, $673 per worker. Further, 523,210 public school teachers received $254 million, $483 per teacher. Combining this mass of working people and rounding off the figures we get, workers, 8,800,000 with a total income of $4,800,000,000 or $550 each. Capitalists, 500,000 with a total income of $5,500,000,000 or $11,000 each. 500,000 capitalist families receive an income that is greater than that of almost 9 million workers' families. What, might we ask, is the role of indirect taxation and of the planned income tax? Indirect taxation brings in 1,200,000,000 rubles, that is, $600 million. The amount of indirect taxation is 75 rubles, $37.50, per family in America. Let us compare the way in which the incomes of capitalists and workers are taxed. Million families total income taxes of income paid tax workers 0. We see that the workers pay 7 kopecks to the ruble in indirect taxes while the capitalists pay 1/3 of a kopeck. The workers pay, proportionally, 20 times more than the capitalists. A system of indirect taxes inevitably creates such an order, a very disorderly order, in all capitalist countries. If the capitalists were to pay the same percentage in taxes as the workers, the tax imposed would be $385 million and not $19 million. Does a progressive income tax of the sort planned in America change much? Very little. From the capitalists' $19 million in direct taxes plus $70 million income tax would be obtained. That is, altogether $89 million or only 1.5% of income. Let us divide the capitalists into middle income $4,000 to $10,000, that is, 8,000 to 20,000 rubles, and wealthy, with an income over 20,000 rubles. We get the following: middle capitalists, 304,000 families with a total income of $1,813,000,000, and wealthy capitalists, 121,000 families with a total income of $3,600,000,000. If the middle capitalists paid as much as the workers pay, that is, 7% of income, the revenue would be about $130 million. 15% from the income of wealthy capitalists would produce $540 million. The total would more than cover all indirect taxes. After the deduction of this tax, the middle capitalists would still have an income of 11,000 rubles each and the wealthy an income of 50,000 rubles each. We see that the demand put forward by the Social Democrats, the complete abolition of all indirect taxes and their replacement by a real progressive income tax and not one that merely plays at it, is fully realizable. Such a measure would, without affecting the foundations of capitalism, give tremendous immediate relief to 9/10 of the population. And, secondly, it would serve as a gigantic impetus to the development of the productive forces of society by expanding the home market and liberating the state from the nonsensical hindrances to economic life that have been introduced for the purpose of levying indirect taxes. The capitalists' advocates usually point to the difficulty of assessing big incomes. Actually, with banks, savings societies, etc., at their present level of development. This is a purely imaginary difficulty. The one difficulty is the class avarice of the capitalists and the existence of undemocratic institutions in the political structure of bourgeois states. Notes Works Index Volume 19 Collected Works